everybody. We're in Gray Cemetery in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a little bit windy out here, so I'm gonna have to speak up, but it feels good, as hot as it is. This is actually the old Gray Cemetery. It's so full, there's another one on the other side of town called the New Gray Cemetery. I decided to check this one out because there are some reports, some haunted reports out here. We came out here yesterday, actually, in the evening hours, and it started storming, so we didn't get an opportunity to film.
Which was cool, by the way.
Oh yeah, as soon as we pulled up, the wind started blowing, the lightning started crashing. We were gonna film, but again, it started raining, so it wouldn't have been very, very good. We chose this spot in particular. Leah wants to pan over here. That tombstone right there in
The taller, larger one.
yeah, right there in the middle. That's actually the first person buried in this cemetery back 1851. William Martin died in some type of explosion, at least what the stone said. And he was the first person buried here.
And if you come out and visit the cemetery, there is a map of sorts at the entrance. And he's in what section?
Quadrant D3.
D as in
Dog.
dog
Delta,
3.
I mean, this is an expansive cemetery. You can't see for the trees here, but right here along the line, there's a rock wall, and on the other side of it is the Veterans Cemetery.
What we may do is, after you talk about what you want to, then we may hop in the car and just kind of do a brief drive-through.
Okay.
And I'll video that.
All right.
And we'll share that. But it's so cool. It kind of, for me, it was very reminiscent of if you've ever visited any of the cemeteries in Savannah, or some of those just really older, even kind of when we went...
Reminds me of Rome. That's what I was
Rome,
gonna
Georgia.
say, yeah.
There's a really cool cemetery in Rome, Georgia. So it was just very reminiscent of that. Very cool. And I'll show you on our drive-through tour some of the really neat spots.
Yeah, there's a really cool crypt that's, I can't remember exactly where it is, but we'll drive past it.
Yeah.
It's called a receiving crypt. I'd never heard of any such thing. We actually had to look that up. But whenever we looked up, locations in this area with activity, this one was one of the top ones on the list. And it said that the main activity here was what's called a black Aggie had been spotted in the vicinity of the cemetery, roaming around in amongst the tombstones. Black Aggie's nothing more than a black cloaked figure.
Not the marbles.
No, which I didn't even know that. Evidently an Aggie's also a marble. So actually the term black Aggie, and I wanted to pull this up on my phone to make sure I get the name right, it's a folklore name given to a statue that is on the grave of General Felix Agnes in Druid Ridge Cemetery in Pikesville, Maryland. All it is it's a cloaked figure that looks sorrowful. So that has become the name for every cloaked figure that hangs out in a cemetery. So one thing when we came out here, even though we didn't get to do an overnight, we'll walk back over here towards the vehicle, was trying to see, okay, if these people are seeing a hooded figure, what are some things that we might see out here, that could potentially be mistaken for that? Because I've done investigations before where a black Aggie has been called, and we were actually able to determine that what people were seeing were bushes, the way the bushes were set along the road, because you can always see the black Aggie from a certain point, so and so and so. But as Leah's doing this shot throughout here, you can't help but notice that we have a lot of trees. We've got a lot of different monuments that are, tall, slender. I don't know if she's got it in the center of the shot right now, but right up there at the very top of that hill is a monument that has the Virgin Mary on it. Now, that stone is rather worn away, so all you can see is that there is a figure up there wearing some type of robe.
And when we were here yesterday evening, nighttime really, because of the storm, it will kind of give you a double take when you're just, coming through here at night and seeing that. So
we did a double take yesterday because, guys, we were driving through here, and I'm gonna step in the shot for a second. Right over here behind those trees,
Oh, yeah.
we saw a woman in a white flowing dress come running from over that direction.
Just in the middle where all those, I don't know if you can tell in the shot, but where all those tombstones are. They're like older tombstones.
Now, Leah saw her first and was immediately, just dumbfounded. So she pointed over and she said, "Does anybody else see that?" And I turned, and I've never seen an entity like that before. So we saw, the woman in the white flowers, and she was running in our direction. We were actually in the other cemetery, and she's coming running at us. And there's that moment of like, and then we noticed the other girl behind her running, carrying the camera. And we realized that it was somebody out here taking some type of photos, prom photos or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a prom dress or a wedding dress or whatever, but there's been times where we've been somewhere and I see someone like Mike standing in front of me now, and they'll be doing something odd or strange, and I'll look at Mike and I'll go, "Look at what they're doing," and he's like,
"What are you talking about?
There's not anybody over there." And then it just kind of gives me a double take of, oh, so now I've got to where I ask, am I the only one that sees this?
Logan was in the car with us too, and we both were like, "Yeah, we see her." And then, like I said, we saw the girl with the camera.
So it's like, okay, I didn't feel anything paranormal about it, but you don't never know for sure. So I got their second opinion.
So back to what I was saying about, there's also, and we'll see these again on the tour, there's angels. There's a lot of angel statues.
Oh, yeah.
If you watch Doctor Who, don't blink. But there's a lot of angel statues out here. And actually, there was one of the articles I read called this like the Holy Land of Angels, just because of the amount of angel statues and monuments that are in this cemetery. So that also can be misconstrued. If you're in the dark night and you see something that looks like a person standing there, it's very possibly one of these monuments. And this is a shame right here. Broken stone.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's very well kept. It
Right.
is on the National Historical.
Yes, it is.
Landmark thing. So
let me go
that's
ahead
really
and
cool.
beat Leah to the punch on this one. If you come visit this place, be respectful. Please don't walk on the monuments. Don't stand on stuff. Don't throw your trash out. Be respectful. Make sure when you're walking in between the graves, you're not walking on the graves. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Because you can see this place is full.
So is there anything else you wanted to say about this spot?
Not in particular, no. Like I said, we chose this because we've got the first guy that was buried here. But, as we get in the car and we take a loop around, you'll get an example. There's several other crypts. There's one that almost looks like a hobbit hole. It's built into the side of the hill.
And that kind of stuff is what really kind of reminded me of when I went to Savannah. And so that was really neat. There's some other things here too, crypts,
right,
that reminded me. It had a very Savannah flavor. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now, so we're not boring them with trying to get in the vehicle and set up.
Right, and then we'll start back up.
And then I'll start you back up.
Now,
okay?
I do want to add one thing, because I don't know exactly how much talking we'll do as we drive. Most of our talking will probably be like, "Hey, look at that."
Yeah.
But I want to go on record and say here, just because I'm pointing out these suggestions of what we're seeing out here that could be misconstrued as the potential haunting that's being seen here, by no means am I saying that that's the definitive purpose. Remember, as a good investigator, you want to come out here, you scout your place in the daylight, because we're here, and you want to try to weed out any potential natural causes. And then once you weed out all the natural and you're still starting to get that activity, that's when you start leaning towards the supernatural. So please don't think I'm in any way saying, oh, that right there is the reason. That's what it is. We're just giving possibilities, because this is a really cool place.
Yeah, and we're here just in one little glimpse of time, whereas, you have to really be somewhere several times over, or maybe you just got lucky and hit the sweet spot at the sweet time, and the sweet time of year and day. So
you always hear these legends where you have to be there at a certain time and a certain day. This thing might not come out except on tax day at 1:32 in the morning.
Right.
So who knows? All right.
All right.